Dr. Angela McBrady of DoctorFlute.com, and today's flute tip is on always warm up musically. A lot of times when we're warming up, we just play our exercises to get through them. We play them to warm up the lip, we play them to warm up the fingers, but we're not really thinking our way through them. And I want to tell you that every time you have the flute up to your lip, you need to be making music. Whether that's doing long tones, or you're doing scale exercises, or you're doing some type of arpeggio exercise, it always needs to be done musically. Now, if I were to play, this was a Reichert study, if I were to play that without thinking, I would play it something like this. Okay, fine, I got it. It's warming up my fingers, it's getting my lip warmed up, but that's not playing musically. It wasn't playing with the thought that, what if this were to occur in a solo? I'd want to play that musically, and here's where you start paying that piper. If you do it in your exercises and you play musically here, you'll play musically in your solos. Now let me play that again and think about making music as I play. I want to aim for going up, and I'm not going to accent each group of 6, but I want to aim for where I'm going, and I'm going up to that top F, and then where I'm going is I'm aiming for the arpeggio, the lower F at the very end when I do, so that I have this nice phrase, even though it's just a scale exercise and it's just for me to wake up everything, muscles and fingers. I want to make music with that. The same could be said if you're doing your Taffanel and Gobert scales. I can play them all day long and go through all my scales, but I didn't play it very musically. Now I want to think about how the scale is moving, where it's going to, how I'm going to end that scale. And I would do the same thing coming down. Now, it doesn't mean I have to go slower. I did maybe take a little liberty through that just to emphasize the point that I'm going somewhere with that scale and not just playing it. Now, the same can be said if you're going to add articulation. So if I do, let's say, slur 2, tongue 2. So here's my non-musical version of that. And I played that one time for a teacher just like that. And she said, "Where's the music? Where's the music to what you're playing?" And I didn't really know what she was talking about. But she taught me, and it was a fantastic lesson to learn. She said, play it slurred. Now she said, just put in the slur 2, tongue 2, but make it shaped the same way. Now again, I took a few liberties, and if I had my metronome on, which I totally advocate using, I would have to do that within the beat and not let myself get off from that beat. But my articulation now had a musical line to it. It's so much more interesting for me to play it as well if I think about where is that line going and not just mindlessly playing. Now, what if I were to play an arpeggio? So let's do... That's Reichert's number 2 exercise, going through your 1 and 5 chords. Now I just played it non-musically. I like to tongue. I like to use Reichert number 2 as a really good tone focusing exercise on each and every note. So I do a lot of tonguing, but you can slur it as well. But as I tongue it, I want to play it musically. It makes me have so much more joy in playing that, because I find that I'm not mindlessly playing just a scale exercise, just an arpeggio exercise that doesn't mean anything. Now I feel like that means something. When I run across those type of exercises, and you'll see bits and pieces of that in every solo that you play, you'll then automatically play it musically, because you've learned to play it musically in your scales and arpeggios. Same thing with your long tones. Now they're just long, right? But play them with some fullness. Now, there are different reasons. If you're crescendoing and diminuendoing, or you're just playing it with that mezzo forte sound. But play it with a shape where you're going to the middle, where you're changing the note, and then you taper off at the very end. Think about your vibrato as you are doing that long tone, and be very intentional about how you're playing it. Many different types of tone exercises, but make music with them. So that's my advice to you for today's flute tip, because playing musically is much more interesting for you. The payoff is great, and you'll be much more interested in doing those exercises if you make them musical. That's today's flute tip.